It sounds like the setup to a bad joke. One of Europe's richest, most elegant capitals decides to house its students in a grain silo. Not next to a grain silo, not in a building inspired by one, but in an actual mid-century concrete cylinder built in 1953 to store thousands of tons of grain in Oslo. Today it's home to university students, and not just a few. The entire silo was converted floor by floor into circular dorm rooms, kitchens, study spaces, and even a few basement units without windows. The idea is so strange, it sounds like satire, but Oslo took it seriously. Before construction even began, the architects ran a live experiment. They built a mock circular room just to see if people could stand living in one. Apparently, they could, as long as you don't mind your walls curving in around you. Now here's the wild part. Most grain silos around the world don't get a second chance. They're torn down, forgotten by time, or in more than a few cases, just burnt. Their sheer vertical shapes makes them hard to repurpose and even harder to save. But in this case, the challenge wasn't whether the silo could survive, it was whether it could become something entirely new and human. Stay tuned to find out how, as today we discover Oslo's forgotten grain silo. I'm your host Ryan Socash, and you're watching It's History on Location. By the early 2000s, Oslo had a problem. More students than places to house them, and nowhere affordable left to build. The university needed a solution fast, but with real estate prices in the city center climbing and space already spoken for, traditional dormitories were pretty much off the table. Meanwhile, just a few tram stops away, the city had its eye on something else, a post-industrial zone filled with crumbling infrastructure, rusted-out machinery, and concrete silos that nobody had touched in decades. What was the plan? The plan? Revitalize the area without erasing the past. That meant reusing what was already there, even if what was already there included a 53-meter tall grain silo with no windows, no plumbing, and absolutely no blueprint for human life. And somehow, that's exactly where the university found their answers. Hence, to understand how this strange idea went from a dream to reality, I met up with the key architect and developer who led this entire project.
The silo was originally built in 1953, and we refurbished it and put it into student housing at 2001. This silo was not needed for grain anymore, and those who owned this wanted to use it for someone else, and there was an architecture competition, and this student housing project won this, and it was rather popular because we could use the whole building. Otherwise, they would have to tear it down and build a 4-story building.
To turn a grain silo into housing for students, the architects had to rethink everything. No one had ever really tried anything like this, not in Oslo at least. But before they could even start, they had to solve one big question. Could this even work?
The silo then have no doors. It's a tube from the bottom to the top, and there's lots of concrete. There is no openings for doors and windows, so we had to cut out places where we can put in doors and make floors. So that was a complex building process, and many people thought that this was contaminated with bugs and everything from the grain, but this is a complete clean house, and it's very popular for the students. It's the most popular house that we rent out because it's special.
With the structure confirmed and the plans in place, it was time to tackle the next big question. What do you even do with the building's most unusual feature? Its circular spaces.
We have 21 silos. And of course, you had one room in each silo, and when you have this round, you have a star, and the star became a bathroom. So that was it. And because you had to get through all the silos, you had to walk. So we had to cut out, I think, 1,300 door openings to go from the lift and through the silos in the middle to serve the silos around. This is a huge concrete block. We have to take that as the starting point. And we cut out what we need to cut out, and where we cut it, we saw beautiful stones being cut off. And so why do anything else?
Yeah.
But everything we put in, we do the opposite. We use bright colors and very distinct design, so that you easily can read the old concrete structure and the new elements put in. We worked with an artist who worked out the color scheme and started it's 18 stories, so, and every story is exact like. So we started to give 3 or 4 floors each own color scheme, and it started in the bottom near the earth with yellow and red and orange, and then it became green when it came up to the trees and that sort of thing, and it's kind of indigo and blue on the top where you are in the sky. So those colors we combine on windows and interior elements, furniture.
We're on the rooftop right now. Tell me what is in this building from the top to the bottom.
There are approximately 250 flats here. Everyone has their own bathroom. They have their own kitchen, most of them. And there are circular rooms that we can see. And it was also a challenge to find furniture that fitted into these circular rooms. So we had to make special furniture. There are storage rooms at the bottom, and there's a four stories below the entrance with student housing in them. And there are student housing, and they are similar all the way up to the 16th floor. And from 16th floor and up, there are rectangular, because storage of the grain was only to the 16th floor.
Well, the silo may have seemed like an ideal shell. The real challenge laid inside. Could students actually live in these circular rooms, and if so, how? Here we have a typical residential area for Norwegian students. Here I see that the corridor actually shows a bit of the original material. And the contrast is also interesting because everything else is brand new and beautiful. It's more narrow than I expected it to be, honestly. So now that we've got the history down, I would love to have a tour from the architect who designed the space. After you.
We are coming into the space which are in between the round silos. It's a kind of star shape. And in the center of the star, you have the bathroom. And then at the segment of the circle, you have the kitchen.
So now the kitchen is partially in an internal silo, and the living space.
Yes.
Okay.
The corridor and this entrance on both sides is one silo. And the room in here is one silo. And the bathroom is what's left when you put the silos together. Yes, this is a living space, and we have these French doors with the glass. And it was because of the concrete in a silo is very little reinforced, because the silo structure is what in English pressure, not stretching, it's just pressing. So they can use less reinforcement. But then when you cut holes, the structure is tending to fall apart. So we had to have very small vertical openings to keep the concrete structure. You have the view down to the park and up to the sky. So it was very nice to have those vertical.
Yeah.
We were very eager to see how is it to live in a round room, in a round space. And we said, oh, the students are not going to live here for so many years, so they will manage. Yeah. But it turned the opposite way. I think they were very fond of these round spaces.
I have to say, I'm surprised at how well it really works out, because for the most part, the furniture kind of fits in naturally, and the room is really, really well composed because of the circle.
Throughout the years, that it's very popular student housing, this one. Oh, you're living at the Silo. When we built it and opened it, both the people and the architects loved it immediately. So it got the Oslo Municipality Architecture Prize, and the newspaper Aftenposten called it the hype of the year. So when the architect and everybody loved it, it was very, very funny, of course.
And although rooms are small and quirky, the design didn't just meet basic needs. They also became a symbol of how Oslo could face its housing challenges while maintaining its industrial heritage. This silo stands as a testament to what can be achieved when cities get creative with space. From an abandoned industrial site to a model of sustainability, this grain silo is now more than just a dorm. It's a part of Oslo's effort to preserve its past while reimagining the future. We'll leave it there for today, but a special thanks to our Patreons for making this episode possible. If you guys would like to support the channel as well, you can scan this QR code to join. Hopefully you'll send me around the world, and we'll make much more on location. Otherwise, I've got a plane to catch. So until next time, this is Ryan Socash, signing off.